there's been a drastic boost in exports of Korean educational content overseas. Reporter Kwon So-a delves into the reasons why. Tuntun English, an English education company, has recently signed a contents export contract with Aksorn Charoen Tat Education Group, which is one of Thailand's major education publishing groups. Cheongdam Learning has also signed an MOU and non-disclosure agreement to enter the smart learning market in Thailand and to win a contract in Thailand's public education smart learning project. It also has plans to set up a learning center. There are many subjects being offered like English, mathematics, and science. Due to restrictions on private Korean education, companies are shifting their focus to overseas markets. Additional opportunities for these companies to promote their contents through book fairs and expos overseas have been a huge benefit. Samsung Group is undergoing a massive restructuring. Samsung is selling shares in its defense business Samsung Techwin and Samsung Thales, along with its chemical unit Samsung General Chemicals and Samsung Total Petrochemicals to Hanwha Group. Reporter Lee Ji-yoon brought us the details. This is the first time Samsung is selling stakes in 4 of its affiliates to another group since the 1997 Asian financial crisis. The move is being seen as another sign that the group is getting ready to transfer ownership to the next generation. This deal is expected to be approved and completed in the first half of 2015. First it was the Tayo buses and then the Larva subway cars, and now it's Pororo taxis taking to the streets of Seoul. Reporter Connie Lee brought us the details. The popular cartoon character Pororo decorates the inside and outside of taxis. The special taxis will be in service in the capital from November 25th to May 2015. You'll find Pororo on the seatbelts and pretty much everywhere. 20 such taxis have begun running in Seoul. The fares for these Pororo taxis are the same as regular taxis in Seoul, and as there's only a handful available, the taxis must be reserved in advance. Those who want to ride in these Pororo taxis can make reservations on the Seoul City Public Service website. Black Friday is when stores go all out and become a shopping mecca for consumers in the United States. Black Friday comes the day after Thanksgiving and usually marks the beginning of the year-end holiday shopping season. Even though Black Friday is an American trend, it's starting to spread to Korea as well. Reporter Kim Min-ji went out to cover the story. She's at a coffee shop waiting to meet someone who often makes direct purchases from overseas.
그러니까 이제 Black Friday 열풍이 이제 원래 미국 건데 이제 한국으로 막 들어와서 세일 프로모션을 지금 앞당겼다고 해요. 그렇게 해서 뭐 블랙 뭐 다 이렇게 해서 이렇게 시작을 해서 이제 한국 사람들도 이거에 이제 이렇게 관심이 있다. 그렇게 해서 국내도 이제 해외 직구한테 소비자를 뺏기니까 이제 대응에 나서는 그러니까 종합적으로 다 들어가는 거. 안녕하세요.
The man says he makes lots of purchases from US websites. He says opportunities like Black Friday can't be missed as many items are sold at discounted prices, sometimes by more than 50%. Now that online direct purchasing is more common, Black Friday has become a shopping event for the global community.
그냥 얼마나 자주 하시고 이제 네, 하시는 이유가 있으실 거 아니에요. 그런 거랑 이제 블랙 프라이데이 맞추면 이제 아무래도 해외에서도 뭐 90%까지 최대 할인을 하니까. 그럼 주로 어떤 거를 많이 사세요?
제일 많이 사는 게 뭐 의류나 신발이나 뭐 이런 거고.
그러면 하시면서 뭐 단점 이런 거는 느꼈던 건 없어요?
일단은 배송이 한국처럼 정확하잖아요.
네.
그래서
이제 블랙 프라이데이가 더 이상 미국 것만 아니라 이제 한국까지도 이제 이 열풍이 이제 이렇게 들어오고 있는데 이제 이거에 맞춰서 해외 직구족들이 이제 더 활발하게 이제 활동을 하시고 이제 하는데 그거에 대해서 이제 말씀을 한마디 부탁드리겠습니다.
블랙 프라이데이를 기다려서 쇼핑을 하는 이유는 이제 물건이 워낙 많은 데다가 할인이 굉장히 대폭으로 되기 때문에 이번에는 조금 더 기다렸다가 블랙 프라이데이 때 사려고 하고 있습니다.
그러면 이제 하시는 이유 중에 이제 뭐 최대 장점은 무엇이라고?
일단 물건이 조금 다양하기 때문에 선택할 수 있는 사항이 조금 더 넓은 점.
알겠습니다. 네, 감사합니다. The reason I wanted to talk to this person was because I myself have never experienced direct purchasing before. So I wanted to see why this person does direct purchasing, like what benefits it has, and whether, because it's Black Friday and there are so many sales, I wanted to see if actually Korean people who are interested in direct purchasing actually do wait until Black Friday to do their shopping. So he gave me like an insight into like why people do it. Obviously, the main reason would be because it's like slightly cheaper. But another reason that he gave me was the wide variety of products. Like you can't see these products in Korean department stores or online shopping malls.
Minji next headed to a large retailer. Direct purchases now include everyday items, so they're even very busy these days.
그래서 보니까 위에 이렇게 달려 있더라고요. 사진 같은 거 찾아보니까. 여기는 그냥 스케치만 들어가면 되니까 약간 특히 이제 뭐 생필품 이런 게 이제 좀 더 많이 한다고 하더라고요. 이제 그런 거는 직구로도 많이 하고 해서.
Minji looks around for items that can only be found in such stores.
행사장에 보면 이렇게 여러 상품을 가운데다 이렇게 놓고 해서 저기가 촬영은 괜찮을 것 같아요. 선배 약간 저런 가격표에 이렇게 보면 할인했던 약간 그런 것 좀 부탁드릴게요.
Distribution companies haven't enjoyed seasonal special benefits this year because of poor sales and other factors. So a special event has been set up to lure in consumers who would otherwise make direct purchases from overseas. Many of the goods are sold at prices that are comparable to those overseas, and they also sell brands that aren't readily available in Korea.
I wanted to show that in Korea, they're not just holding Black Friday sales at department stores. So usually people like focus on like clothes or shoes or bags. But I just wanted to show that in Korea, Black Friday actually does have an impact, and even supermarkets are taking part in the event. So they covered a lot of products. So they had like outdoor products as well, basically just from the basics of like food and just stationery. So all this was included, and they gave sales of like up to 50%.
This time, Minji stops by Shinsegae department store. She's curious about the preparations for Black Friday. Korea's online and offline distribution industry must directly compete with foreign distributors now. This department store is holding discount events until the 30th at its online shopping mall.
그러니까 기사 같은 거 보니까 뭐 90%까지 최대 할인을 받을 수 있다고 뭐 다 이렇게 80%까지.
그래서 기사도 몇 개 나왔는데 아마존닷컴보다 더 가격이
할인되고요? 그러면 백화점에 파는 동일한 상품을 일단 온라인상으로 판매를 하시는 거예요?
동일한 상품 위주로.
그러면 그거는 이제 수량이 동날 때까지 이렇게 하시는 거예요? 아니면?
그렇죠. 저희가 뭐 상품마다.
블랙 세븐데이즈 행사를 진행하게 되시는 이유 말씀 부탁드리겠습니다.
국내에서도 블랙 프라이데이가 유럽이나 미국 못지않게 큰 그런 쇼핑 기회 아니면 시즌이 돼서 저희 국내 고객들이 이렇게 요즘에 직구가 많은데요. 그런 고객들에게 좀 큰 혜택이라던가 아니면 국내 유통 시설에서도 좀 쇼핑할 수 있는 그런 기회나 혜택을 좀 크게 부여하고자 이런 행사를 준비하게 되었습니다.
그럼 지금까지 이렇게 지켜봐 온 결과로는 지금 반응이 어떠신지?
저희가 이번 행사가 좀 홍보가 잘 돼서요. 지금 온라인 같은 경우는 그 쿠폰을 드리는 특정 시간대에는 접속이 지연될 정도로 그 많은 고객들의 호응을 받고 있고요. 오프라인 매장, 백화점에서도 고객의 뭐 방문이라던가 구매가 많이 이루어지고 있습니다.
The reason I went to Shinsegae department store was because they were holding their own Black Friday sales. Some department stores have actually pulled their sale periods earlier, so usually they hold it in December, early December. But in line with Black Friday, they have pulled their sale period. I also wanted an expert in that area, like for instance someone who is taking care of the marketing campaign, to tell me whether the shopping trends of Black Friday in the US or Europe was actually coming to Korea. And he was able to tell me that these shopping patterns were coming into Korea. 1층에 화장품 매장만 이렇게 한번 보고
Minji drops by every floor of the department store as she wants to get video of the various items that are on sale. There's a steady stream of consumers who are out to purchase discounted goods, so it gave her a feel for what the effects of Black Friday are in the domestic market. Minji has arrived at Lotte Department Store in Myeongdong to check out a store's special event in time for Black Friday.
뷰티는 그냥 여기 매장 이름이고 이제 이 안에 해외 직구에서 사람들이 선호하는 브랜드들이 다 들어와 있는 거예요. 30% 더 비싼 거예요. 해외 직구보다. 근데 이제 배송비랑 관세 떼면 결국은 뭐 막상막하가 되는 거고. 그래서 이게 국내 최초라고 하더라고요.
There are a growing number of complaints as a growing number of people make direct online purchases in time for Black Friday. There are cases in which the products do not arrive or are damaged during the delivery process, and consumers face a lot of difficulties when seeking refunds or exchanges. Making careful purchases is a must for consumers. Minji is out to find detailed information by interviewing employees of the store.
그럼 여기서는 이제 뭐 사구, 뭐 반품이나 뭐 환불 이런 건 다 백화점이나 다른 매장처럼 다 동일하게. 네네, 동일하게 백화점 수준으로 진행하고 있어요. 그럼 반응은 어떠세요, 보통 사람들?
지금 오픈한 첫 출발치고는 반응이 좋다고 지금 내부적으로는 평가하고 있고, 실제로 뭐 오시는 고객님들도 입소문을 통해서 어느 정도 반응이 괜찮은 편입니다.
The actual interview begins after the pre-interview ends.
네, 비트윈이랑 매장을 이제 개설하게 된 이유 말씀 부탁드리겠습니다.
직구가 한국에 많이 도입됨에 따라서 그쪽으로 유입되는 고객들이 많다는 판단을 저희 내부적으로도 하게 됐어요. 그래서 이제 해외 직구를 이용하시는 고객들을 뭐 직구의 단점, 뭐 AS나 교환 환불이 어렵다는 거, 뭐 입어볼 수가 없다는 거, 이런 점을 개선하고 오프라인에서 이제 직구 해외에서 인기 있는 브랜드들을 비슷한 가격에 고객님들한테 소개할 수 있도록 매장을 저희가 오픈해 보았습니다.
네, 감사합니다. Local retailers are now trying to compete for these people we call 직구족. So these are like direct purchasing people. So because people are turning to direct purchasing, obviously for various reasons, from whether it be cheap or variety. So in order to target these customers, they are providing the same products that we can find on these overseas online shopping malls. Now we can see that in order to gain or lure these potential customers, Korea is providing these customized shops. 스탠드업을 막 옷 입어보면서 해도 괜찮아요?
입어보면서?
네.
Minji has thought deeply about her stand-up because she wanted it to have a strong impact.
이거는 좀 시간이 오래 걸릴 것 같으니까 그냥 마지막에 이렇게 들고 하나를 그냥 꺼내서 그냥 드는 걸로 끝내자. 뒤로 가면서 뒷걸음질 하면서 얘기를 하다가 이걸 하나 꺼내서.
Products sold here can also be found on overseas online shopping malls. Although prices can run about 30% higher when you consider delivery charges or import duties, the difference basically cancels out. Plus, there's the added benefit of trying out the products before you buy them. 아니, 제가 하면서 약간 어색함이 느꼈는데 그게 화면에 안 보이면 그럼 괜찮은데 그냥 제...
뒤로 가는 게 어색하면은
네.
여기서 앞으로 걸어온다.
앞으로요?
네.
Although prices run about 30% higher, when you take import duties or delivery charges into account, the price... 다시 한 번만 할게요.
products sold here can also be found on overseas online shopping malls, although prices can run about 30% higher. When you consider delivery cost and import duties, the difference basically cancels out. Plus, there's the added benefit of being able to try things out before you buy them.
In the stand-up part, I was explaining that these products are cheaper, and I wanted to show them the advantage that we can try them on before we purchase them. So I actually wanted to try on the coat that I was holding, but it was kind of hard to speak while I was putting on the clothes. So in the end, I just held it up to show that you can check out the product before you purchase it.
Jumping online and buying stuff from overseas, our Kim Min-ji reports.
Winter sales in Korea are up and running, but they came a couple of days.
A dream becomes a goal when an exact date is attached to it. When you narrow down a goal, it becomes a plan. And your dreams are fulfilled when you put the plan into action. Reporter Kim Min-ji has done her best, and we hope to see her dreams achieved.
I'm still at the learning stage, so at the meantime, I want to actually try a lot of articles, like whether it be economic or diplomatic issues. I want to gain experience or gain knowledge in a variety of aspects first before I actually specialize in one area. When I write stories or in the future, I want to be clear and concise and accurate, obviously, to give our viewers a clear insight into what's going on in Korea or elsewhere around the world.
Usually the first sound of the day is the first sound that I learned to produce when I was a young boy, so here we go. That's what I do in the morning, but it's a secret, so just for you, okay? There's one composer, one piece I always go back to, especially when I feel kind of down or feel depressed, or well, I need to find my own space to recuperate my spirit and mental and all that. Is exactly what you just heard. 안녕하세요.
네, 오늘 인터뷰 진행하게 된 김민정이라고 합니다.
반갑습니다.
Wow, your instrument, the cello, is beautiful. Wow.
Yes.
How old, if I may ask?
It's very old. A friend living in Italy is lending it to me.
Wow.
So it's a very old instrument, and it's got many cracks, and so I have to be very careful with it.
So does it grow with age? I mean, does the sound get better?
Well, you know, if there is one similarity between humankind and the instrument, once we reach our fixed size, our maturity, that's about as much as we can grow externally, right? But internally, we and the instrument is endless room to improve. And I think internally we can always explore richer sound, profound sound, and eventually the great paradox that we're trying to meet is to find the profound and yet transparent sound.
how long have you been playing the cello? For decades, I'm thinking.
Oh yeah, I think exactly 40 years now.
Wow, wow.
I started playing piano when I was 3 or 4, I can't remember. I didn't like it very much, it didn't last too long. And then at the age of 7, my father said, why don't you try this, you know? And then...
Was he a cellist himself?
He's a violinist.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I wonder why he chose this for you as opposed to the violin.
My older brother is a violinist and he was already playing violin. And then, well, I have big hand and then physically I was, I guess, always rather big. So he said, why don't you try this one as an option, you know, you have to play. But I liked it immediately.
I have a 7-year-old daughter who I want to teach the cello.
That's the age to start.
But I mean, there will come a time when she wouldn't want to continue just because, you know, it gets tough, right? After you hit a certain period, how do I pressure her to continue or just
let her choose and make sure that she gets pleasure out of it. And of course, discipline is very important. It's very, very important to practice every day. But parents have to find a way of providing joy and also explaining them by repetition. One gets better, and that's something very important. And for them to understand that, I think it's an important factor, not only for the instrumental playing, but for life, actually.
That's true.
Yeah.
Should we move it to downstairs?
Yep. Yeah. Do you have only one child?
I have 2 actually.
It's a Tuesday morning here in Seoul. Thanks for joining us. South Korea's National Assembly has its week-long trip to Russia. The political element of President Barack Obama's
painful chewing are all related to periodontal diseases. Now don't shake it away because it could lead to something much more serious.
One of Korea's most prominent cellists, Yang Sung-won, is known for his performances.
I was about to be dreaming of recording these pieces for quite a number of years now.
Which looks like a cello, but with the all frets. With the engineer who draw his design.
Thank you so much for joining us, and maybe you can get a peek of your performance later on in the show.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. My wife and I, we always say we need to make sure that our kids are in touch with their senses. So if our viewers could spend a little bit more time making sure their children learn to see what's beautiful, they hear what's beautiful, they feel something beautiful, and they have good food, I think their future will be all right.